What is up, friends? Welcome back to the channel. Today I am totally switching gears and really going out of my comfort zone, and I am going to make a pair of overalls. So I did a poll on my Instagram stories, I don't know, probably a couple months ago now, and asked if I should make overalls or a pair of jeans first, and just undefeated, the overalls won. So I ordered the pattern. It's the Riley overalls by True Bias. You could do long pants or you could do short. So I'm going to do short alls, like overalls that are shorts. And so I went ahead and I got the pattern printed at a at a print shop. So I got it done on blueprint paper. And I had to get it shipped to my house. So this took a little bit to get, but I got the pattern. It's all ready to go. And they actually misprinted it. They didn't print it at 100%. So I just need to keep that in mind. And when I cut out my size, I think I'll just cut out a size or two higher. And then I can just kind of dry fit as I'm making the shorts or pants or the overalls, whatever. So yeah, it'll be a work in progress, of course. But more excitingly, I ordered the fabric. And I'm not huge on denim. Like, I don't know much about it. I know that it comes in different weights, comes in different colors. And denim is not just pure denim anymore. You know, it has like elastane in it or stretchy materials in order to make it more flexible. And yeah, so denim isn't nearly as durable, long-term durable like it used to be, because that content, the material content, is split with other stuff. And honestly, I don't remember the material content makeup of what I ordered. Oops, just got some paint on my finger. But let's open up the box together. I haven't opened it yet. And this has just been sitting and waiting patiently just over in the corner. I ordered this from, it doesn't have the business name, it's just the person's personal name. So hopefully there's a receipt in here. So I ordered yellow denim, like a mustard denim. Oh, this is like denim too. It feels, it's kind of almost like scratchies. It's like real denim. So let's see. So I ordered, this is dead stock. So that means that this was material that was used by a designer that produced mass consumption, and this is their leftover fabric. So when a designer doesn't, or when a company doesn't use their fabric anymore, it goes into what's called dead stock, and then it becomes available for purchase by other people. There's a whole market to get designer fabrics. So this is dead stock. This is Cone Mills denim. It's 100% cotton, mustard yellow. So it's 9.75 ounces. And I got it from LA Finch Fabrics. And yep, so I originally ordered 4 yards. I feel like that was way too much. So I even I messaged the sender pretty quickly, and then we lowered it to 3 yards. And I think that should be more than enough to get overalls out of these. I paid $16.99 a yard for this, and then shipping was included because I got it on Etsy. And if you know anything about Etsy, they basically force you to roll your shipping into your actual costs. So this is what it looks like on the back. You can see it's kind of like whitewashed. And then the front, there is no stretch. So this is like traditional denim. Or maybe there's just like the tiniest amount of stretch. Not much, nothing to write home about. I don't think that that's going to change the overall aesthetic. But I am hopeful, since it is like traditional denim, that these, come here now, that once I have them on and I wear them in a little bit, that it'll kind of soften up. And then when I like stand up, hopefully they won't hold creases and things like that. So I'm going to wash this first because I'm not making a bag. I want to ensure that if this fabric is going to shrink at all, I want to pre-shrink it. So I am going to wash it first. And actually, I think what I'm going to do is run a stitch line along all of the raw edges, because this is denim. It's a really wide weave. You can see it's peeling. So if you leave it like this and you wash it, it's just gonna peel and peel and peel, which is okay, but it makes for a mess in the washing machine, especially in the dryer. So I'm just gonna run a stitch all around the raw edges just to tie it together, and then so when it's being washed, it hopefully won't go past that stitch line, which this, it won't go past this because that's the selvage, but this is the side that we want to lock into place. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to wash it, and I'll be back. Okay, so we are going to be working on the front panel of the overall. So this is going to be the 2 front pockets and then the actual bib. But for now, we need to fold and iron our mini pocket, the little tiny pocket. So I'm going to get that, and I'm going to flip it to where it's wrong side up. And so the first thing that we need to do is fold in this long straight edge a 1/2 inch and iron it. So I'm just going to fold it, and then I'm going to go over to my heat press, and I'm going to press that. But because I'm going to try to do it maybe all at once, since I do have the heat press. But so you do the left or the right side edge when it's facing to you. The right side edge goes in a 1/2 inch, and then the top edge, you want to fold it down a 1/4 inch, and then again at 3/8 to create a nice folded edge. And what you want to do is enclose that raw edge so that it's not going to fray when you're wearing your overalls. So I'm going to press this first, actually, so I get a nice clean edge. Okay, and then so now I need to fold the 1/4 inch, and I want to be really careful that this corner here matches nicely. So it took me a minute, and I was able to get it. It's hard in a heat press to fold at the edge of something like denim and hold it and have it not slip, so you can see where it slipped here. So I'm actually going to try, I'm going to use some double stick tape and see how this works in holding it in place so I can get it onto the press over there. so now that I've got that edge, I'm going to fold it down the 3/8. Now that I've got it finger pressed, I'm going to add a piece of tape here to hold it until I can get it pressed. So I'm just going to measure it real quick. Okay, perfect. That looks great. So I'm just going to go press this one more time. Oh, jeez Louise. Okay, so now that it's nice and pressed, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna top stitch along this, what is the top edge, whenever it's facing you and it's right side up. I'm just gonna go top stitch. The pattern always calls for a 1/2 inch top stitch or a 1/2 inch seam allowance, so I guess that's how far, but I think probably right here at the base of the fold, you'll wanna top stitch. So I'm using jeans top stitching thread here. It's a perfect match for my mustard denim. I actually took my examples over here. So I am using this yellow top stitching thread. This is jeans thread. It's like the traditional color that like Levi's and any standard pair of jeans has on them. I debated whether I should use my beige color thread because I have so much of it, whereas with this thread I only have one little regular roll, but I'm gonna go for it because it's just such a perfect match. But this, I tested my threads earlier. I folded it up so I had 4 layers of denim and just tested my stitch length and everything else prior to actually stitching on the denim, and it all looks really great. So I think the theme of this is rolling with it, so we're going to. And so I just decided I'm actually going to do a line of double stitching because in reading through the pattern earlier, I know that we do double stitching a lot in this pattern, so I'm going to go ahead and replicate that here as well. So there we go. We have officially begun the construction of our Riley overalls. All right, so we need to gather our large chest pocket pattern piece. And the first thing that we need to do is we need to mark the center. So we're gonna do that just by folding it in half and then pressing here on the long edge. So I'm gonna go ahead and pop this into my heat press. I'll be back in 1 second. Okay, and so now that we have that, that's going to be our guideline to finishing this pocket. So the next step that we're going to do is, I'm going a little bit out of order here, but I'm going to flip this top edge down 1/4 inch and press it. So I'm going to put a piece of tape here to help me get that seam. This is a cool little trick, the way that she designed this next step. But so we're going to fold it down 1/4 inch. And then the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to flip it right side back, and we're going to flip it and fold it down toward the right side right on those notches that we made earlier. So that should be about 1 inch down. And clip that into place. Okay, now I'm just going to measure this and make sure that that is the same on both sides. This side is a little bit taller. It looks like I interfaced my stabilizer a little wonky doodle, so it doesn't want to fold exactly like it's supposed to, but it will be all right. Okay, so now I'm gonna lay my little pocket here on this right hand side, lining up the folded edge with that seam line, or that fold line that we made in the middle of the big pocket. I'm gonna clip this into place. Now, I don't normally do a 1/2 inch, but because this is the front bib pocket, I do want to honor the pattern in that. Later on in the pattern, I might go back to my 1/4 inch. I might just bump it to 3/8 because I will be using my serger to finish off my edges. But I'm not going to be using a 1/2 inch the entire time, most likely. But on this, I am. So what we're going to do is we're going to stitch. We're going to start here at the top right. We're going to stitch, use that 1/2 inch all the way down across and back up. And what that's going to do is it's going to allow us to flip this pocket, and then we're going to have a nice pointed, really straight pocket top. And we're going to have a fold line because we're going to be stitching at a 1/2 inch all the way around. I apologize for my camera on this side of the table. It's being a pain in the butt. Okay, gosh, I don't even know where to find 1/2 inch on here. I never stitched this wide. Okay, so since we're over here, I'm going to stay over here because we're gonna top stitch across that top section there. First, what I'm gonna do is trim out some of the seam allowance. I'm gonna trim that down just at this top corner section here, like so. And then you put your fingers in here and flip it right side out. Now, if you have something pokey or sharp, you can poke these corners out so that you get a nice crisp edge. And then if you want to, you can go ahead and iron or heat press it. I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I'll be right back. All right, so here it is all pressed, looking good. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna stitch along this bottom edge here to hold this in place. And so then in keeping with the double stitch lines, I'm going to stitch one on top of the line I just made. That's what it looks like now. And so to finish off this front pocket, what we need to do is take this back to our iron. We're gonna fold in right on that stitch line that we made. We're gonna fold and press our 1/2 inch seam allowance here. All right, so I have my front bib pocket all pressed and taped under. I understand why she said to do that 1/2 inch stitching because it gives us a good fold line, but I do kind of think it's a little distracting. I can see it. I'm really glad I didn't use contrasting thread because I think that would really bother me. So I might go back and pick that stitching out because I don't see that anywhere in the pattern to go back and pick it out, but just, you know, ramblings of me. So we're gonna move this to the side and we need to get our front bib pocket, or pieces rather. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna lay them right sides together and we need to stitch up the center line. And then again, she says to use a 1/2 inch seam allowance. So 1/2 inch seam, and then you need to serge or zigzag. You need to finish this raw edge because this is going to be up against your body when you're wearing the bibs, when you're wearing the overalls. And so this will start to ravel. So you need to finish the edge somehow. I'll see you on the other side of the table. Okay, this is not a machine that you've ever seen me use before, but this is my Brother 934D. I got this 12 years ago or so. It was a gift from a friend's mom. It is old, but it works. I spent a whole afternoon teaching myself how to use it, and ever since then, she's just been a workhorse. I've never replaced the needles. I've never oiled it. I honestly don't, I've never changed the blade. I don't know much about this machine, but what I do know is that she's dependable. She gets the work done. I might have spoken too soon. I have all 4 threaded right now, and it seems like what it's trying to do is just do a three stitch overlock, which works just as fine, or just as well, so I'm not super concerned with it. This was the machine that launched 2611 Art, which was my clothing business before I had SewGnar. So, fun fact there. So there we go. So now we have a nice serged edge. And then what you want to do is you want to flip this open and you want to stitch your seam to the left whenever you're wearing the bibs. So when I'm wearing them like this, I need this seam to go to the left. So I'm gonna go stitch, or I'm gonna go press that, and we're gonna top stitch it. Okay, so now we have our serged seam laid down, and I'm going to stitch 1/16 of an inch to the right of the seam, and then I'm gonna repeat it and do a double stitch directly next to the stitch I'm doing right now. All right, so now all we have to do is lay our pocket down and we're going to complete the bib portion of the overalls. Okay, this is what we are working with. You see I have my centerline top stitch. Now what we need to do is we need to flip so it's wrong side up, and then we're going to work on our side curves. And so I'm going to apply some tape. Now I think that the reason you don't really see a lot of tape in these types of patterns is because it's more prevalent in bag making, but you know, why not marry the two? It's definitely helpful for me. I think if I was using just a regular iron, this wouldn't be nearly as challenging, but it's damn near impossible to fold it and hold it folded without heat pressing my fingertips. And that is not what we want to do. Okay, so we're gonna fold it and then fold it again on both sides here. Okay, I'm gonna put it under the heat press and press these really well before I fold the second time. Right, so that's what we're working with now. I'm gonna add a second line of tape and fold over again at 3/8. Now, I was just thinking about it. If you wanted to, you could totally just serge these edges and then fold them over one time and top stitch them into place. You would just want to do the full measurement of what these two are equaling, or you would just have a wider bib at the front. So it's just something to consider. But if your machine can't handle this many layers or whatever, what have you, you can definitely finish the raw edge and then fold it and top stitch it. This definitely gives it a lot more protection, having it encased inside of a fold, but it's just something to consider. Okay, so I went ahead and pressed those seams down so they are laying nicer. And I'm gonna go a little bit out of order again here, but I'm going to roll my top edge down 1/4 inch, and then I'm gonna fold it down 1 inch and get this into place before I go stitch, because I can do my double lines at the same time. So I'm gonna fold down 1/4 inch and then repeat that fold at 1 inch. I'm just going to add a little line of tape here and then fold it, and then I'm going to press it again, and then I'm going to go over to the machine and I'm going to stitch up and across and back down, and then come in and do a second line of stitching just like I did before. All right, so I also decided that I'm going to add my tag, so I'm going to do that now as well. So this part right here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 layers of denim. And my machine just did not like that. So we're going to try again, go a little slower, and hopefully it works. We are getting somewhere. It looks really cute. So the next thing that we need to do is we need to take our front bib pocket and we need to line it up and pin it into place, or in my case, I'm going to use Sew Tights. But so I have a combo situation happening here. My stitching is a little bit cattywampus and it's a little off right there as well. So combined, it kind of gives a weird visual effect. So I'm going to just ensure that my dots are correct with my fold. I just want to make sure that I get my pocket. Oh yeah, it's pretty straight. So I'm going to align my pocket there. I'm gonna line up my bottom seam down here, and then I'm going to put a couple sew tights just to hold it into place. And then I'm gonna go back over to my machine and I'm gonna stitch all around this bib pocket, starting up here, going down, and then back up. And then I'm gonna do a second line of stitching if my machine will let me. Oh, and actually, before I do that, I just remembered. I wanna incorporate some rivets. And so I'm gonna put a rivet right here on the corner of this little pocket. I'm gonna try to get it right here in the corner without hitting any of my threads. And I've got my 7mm rivets. I'm just gonna park one right there. And then once I get my bib, or once I get my pocket attached to my bib, I will do the same in the corners for added security up there as well. And I plan on replicating that on my back pockets too. If you know me at all, then you know that I'm a fan of rivets and of brass, so we're going for it. Rolling with it, right? That's the theme. Okay, so now I'm gonna go stitch around my pocket. All right, well, my machine was not happy putting that pocket on, but we got there in the end. Now I'm just going to punch some holes up here at the corners and get some rivets. These are gonna be so freaking cute. I'm already in love. My sister's gonna hound me for a pair, but I have so much extra, I might be able to make her a matching pair. All right, so our bib is now completed and we are going to work on our straps next. So go find those.